Disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. Star Trek is a Paramount Pictures film and belongs to Bad Robot, CBS, Paramount, Spyglass Entertainment, and their respected owners. This video is in accordance to the copyright law and follows the 5 points of the fair use clause in the copyright law.
No children.
Hit me! Let's put a smile on that face.
What is your name?
My name is James Tiberius Kirk.
You've always had a hard time finding your place in this world, haven't you? Never knowing your true worth. You can settle for less than ordinary life. Or do you feel like you were meant for something better? Something special?
You will always be a child of two worlds, and fully capable of deciding your own destiny. The question you face is, which path will you choose?
Are you afraid or aren't you? I will not allow you to lecture me. Then why do you stop me?
Prepare to fire all weapons.
I like this ship. This is exciting.
Space is disease and danger wrapped in darkness and silence.
Buckle up. The wait is over.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's movie review of Star Trek, starring Chris Pines, Eric Bana, Carl Urban, John Cho, and Winona Ryder. Okay, look, I'm not even gonna beat around the bush for this one. I don't know much about Star Trek. I mean, I know about it in a general sense like many people do, but not on a fan level. I've also never seen any of the past films with the exception of a bit of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I've never seen a full episode of any of its TV series either, and I am nowhere near being a Trekkie or Trekkers for fans who like being called that. I'm also not a hater of the series, and I don't have one of those Star Wars vs. Star Trek issues either. I've just simply never been a fan of the content of Star Trek till now. So with that said, rabid Star Trek fans, ease the fuck down and try not having a heart attack if I get some information or minor details wrong. For those who do intend to start flaming if I get something wrong or say something that you don't like, you may want to try touching a girl and seeing that thing called sunlight that's beyond your grandmother's dark basement instead of being so attached to a series regardless of how iconic it may be. For the rest, please enjoy and let's get this thing started, shall we? Whether you like to admit it or not, Star Trek died years ago. Yes, there was a Star Trek's Generation and even that Enterprise show with the dude from Quantum Leap, but the days of Star Trek being in the center of the public's eyes were long gone. Fans had their content here and there and kept the iconic franchise alive through their fandom, but it was still pretty much dead to those outside of its fan base. Sure, movies came out here and there, but it was no longer a mainstream thing till now. J.J. Abrams goes back to Starfleet's roots to retell the story of the crew of the USS Starship Enterprise, and boy does he tell one hell of a story. Star Trek is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best film of this year so far, and the true film to kick off the summer of blockbusters. J.J. Abrams brings a massively interesting and fresh take to the Star Trek franchise that I thought would never happen. The movie is publicly entertaining while being a beautifully stunning movie that keeps you on the edge of your seat and never lets go, while throwing laughs, thrills, and wonders at you all at the same time, which was never seen before from the series.
Who are you?
I'm with
Who's
him.
with me? We are traveling at warp speed. How did you manage to beam aboard this ship?
You're the genius, you figure it out.
As acting captain of this vessel, I order you to answer the question.
Well, I'm not telling, acting captain. What now? That doesn't frustrate you, does it? My lack of cooperation. That doesn't make you angry.
Are you a member of Starfleet?
Yes. Can I get a towel?
Under penalty of court-martial, I order you to explain to me how you were able to beam aboard this ship while moving at warp.
Well,
Don't answer him.
You will answer me.
Now, I've heard longtime fans complaining about the movie after seeing it and hearing J.J. Abrams' comments about Trekkers staying home for this flick. These fans are complaining about how the film was and the new direction the series is being taken to. Not to mention the fact that many complaints consist of bitching about the most minor of details that can only be noticed by someone with way too much time on their hands. And to those people, I only have 4 things to say to you. Shut the fuck up! Really, fan critics of this film have to be the biggest losers that I've ever seen. These complaints range from changes to the story, minor tech details, and new additions to the franchise. I mean, please, these aren't critics or even critiques, but instead the ramblings of nerdy fans. This fresh, stylistically, and entertaining and interesting reboot of Star Trek was needed in order to make the movie viewable for a wider audience. Because before this flick, Star Trek was just a bunch of techno-babbles that bored people who had lives. Captain, turn on the thrust neurological flux capacitor into accelerated optimum ionic force charge to stabilize the ionic kinetic atmospheric magnetized turbine engines before stabilization of the hyper-accelerated warp drive. I mean, seriously, who the fuck can sit through 2 hours of that shit? It's not even real tech or science lingo, it's just made up techno-babbles that made for poor dialogue. Star Trek was basically that until this reboot, and I for one am glad to see a Star Trek film that not only makes sense, but is smart and entertaining as all hell. The movie basically goes back to the start of it all to tell the origins of James T. Kirk and Starfleet, which was an excellent idea given that the franchise not only needed a reboot, but Gene Roddenberry had stated that he would like to see Star Trek's origins be revisited before he died, so this couldn't be any more of a better choice to start a reboot with. Visually, the movie is beyond stunning and is one of the best looking films that I've seen in a while. And I'm not just talking about the CGI, oh no. From the inside of the Enterprise to the landscapes, planets, ships, costume designs, cinematography, and haunting portrayal of space and its infinite dark voids. The film is simply a 2-hour treat for the eye. Cast do an excellent job as everyone aims to steal the show and no one's performance is weak. This may be a reboot, but everyone in this movie is giving it their very all and it shows through. Carl Urban pulled off Bones with perfection, and I for one couldn't get enough of Chris Pines as Kirk and Simon Pegg as the hysterically and charismatic Scotty.
You brought the charges, right?
oh yeah. Can't wait to kick some Romulan ass. Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what kind of combat training do you have?
Fencing.
Free jump.
So, Commander, you are clear from USS Enterprise airspace.
Gentlemen, we're approaching the drop zone. We have 1 shot to land on that platform. We may have defenses, so pull your chute as late as possible. 3, 2, 1. Remember, the Enterprise won't be able to beam you back until you turn off that drill.
Good luck.
Speaking of the cast, another strong point of the film is that everyone was given a purpose as to be strong in their own ways. Sulu has his combat skills via fencing, Uhura is a master in communications and linguistics, Chekhov is a math genius, Bones is a master doctor, Scotty is a highly talented engineer, and Kirk and Spock are just badasses that rival each other in strength and wit. In the old days of the franchise, some crew members had purposes, but for those who didn't, they simply just sat around and took orders from Kirk, which was kinda lame. Pacing is excellent as well, as the movie doesn't slow down even when there isn't action on screen, and the film not only has an excellent comedic timing without being cheesy or cliche, but manages to throw in old Star Trek quotes, moments, and references that are sure to please many fans of its iconic franchise. In the end, Star Trek brings the franchise back to the mainstream world with a vengeance like you've never seen before, and I for one welcome this fresh and near to perfection film with open arms. Star Trek gets a most logical 9.5 out of 10.